Well, I'm kind of confused. I mean, about the situation. I guess I don't know. Is he saying therapy is not good? I don't know the sentiments of the situation. I don't know. But look, to me, as a man who benefited from therapy, it was much needed in my life a few times. Uh, I couldn't just honestly sit there and tell him, man, don't go to therapy. Just figure it out yourself. Yeah, I couldn't do that and sleep at night and feel easy about it because you never know what somebody's going through, regardless of what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I couldn't tell, somebody dealing with PTSD, say, hey man, fuck, you don't need to see your counselor or nothing like that. Just get over it. Go to the range, shoot some targets, lift some weights, and go work it and get over it. No, I couldn't do that. Not in my right mind to sit there and say that because there's different forms of issues you may be going through that you may need type of therapy. I may need counsel. Now, counseling ain't always got to be seeing a doctor or professional. I mean, you could go talk to somebody who you can rely on, a good friend, a family member, maybe your pastor at church or your deacon at church or somebody like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a doctor or professional therapist like that, but just to, if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Be willing to have the conversation with somebody who you can trust, you can rely on, you can believe in, and who's going to be trustworthy, that's going to hold and cherish what you say, and it's not going to go out there and put your business in the street. So I don't know. Is that would people consider that complaining? I don't know. If you consider that complaining, so be it. I guess you complain, but you do what you need to do, man.
All right, go ahead, Trev.
All right, so we're talking about men who are weak now, and it's my personal opinion that men are certainly weaker now today in society than we were before. So we have to kind of ask why that is, right? There's so many things that contribute to it. We are taught to be in touch with our feminine side. Like, what type of bogus nonsense is that, for one, right? Um, or we could simply tap in on the fact that what a good 70% of us are raised without fathers. And we can't say that that doesn't contribute to it. There are cases where you can make it regardless. That's sure for sure. But if we don't have a positive male role model in our life, a positive example to follow, it makes it a lot more difficult to navigate through that path. Even us as other men, when do we hold ourselves accountable, right? So, what are we doing to provide a solution to make men more masculine, right? That's why most of us have channels, right? We all try to teach other men, but how many of us are really doing that, right? You expect for your gripes to be heard if you have an issue, right? Not all of us are able to tap into that because we don't have the examples. These video games and stuff like that, that's gonna make you soft. You're not ready to deal with the real world. We used to play outside. This video games thing was not nothing before. We had different outlets. We used to play sports. We used to do things with other men, with other boys, right? Like, we used to be out there. Now we're not doing that. Everybody's in the game talking virtually, sitting down for hours, eating garbage, drinking, smoking all day. Like, we don't take the time to put in the work to get better. So those type of men are going to complain because they don't know what to do because now nothing's working for them. Their jobs, they're not getting the good jobs that they want to because they wasted a lot of their life, right? They're not getting the women that they want to. They're becoming depressed because they didn't put in the work to be a man that's desirable. So we have to do something about how weak we are. What do we do? How many of us are in the gym regularly? How many of us are concerned about our diet, what we're putting in our bodies, things that's going to give you energy versus eating a bunch of junk? When are we going to start saying hell no to video games? It's one of the biggest billion-dollar industries we have right now, video games. And of course, there's a little outlet, there's leisure, but how many of us spend hours a day on that? Hours a day. You know how much time you lose? Fortunately, I'm in a position to where, I was blessed with a son now, right? So I'm able to see different problems that are current. We have that communication where he'll say, "Look, this might be bothering me or whatever," and at least I'm able to say, "Well, no, this is how you get through this." And I'm always gonna mention man up because I do realize that society's not going to care about you. Society's not going to take care of you, and it's unacceptable for him to be weak because he won't be able to perform in life, and that's real. So we have to be in our children's lives more. Us as fathers, we got to be more responsible about it. We have young men out here that need help navigating through life. And what are we going to do to help that situation and not create weak men that are complaining?
Real quick. So the thing, Trev, weak men are easy to control. Weak men are easy to control. Strong women are easy to control. And the ultimate goal is to get men as weak as possible to follow somebody or something's agenda. You put women in control, knowing that that's really kind of fake power. You know, Hink, you was confused a little bit when you were saying, "Well, is Andrew saying no, therapy is stupid?" Well, what Andrew is really saying, traditional, sit down on a leather sofa and have somebody with a notepad taking notes and tell them all your thoughts and process and what's going on with your day, is a waste of time, because men particularly are opting to do that as opposed to getting with other men and doing the things that they need to do to become strong. See, the effeminization of men can often be attributed to sitting down, talking to a woman, telling her all your thoughts as your doctor, telling her everything, and then she prescribing you to be more in touch with your sensibilities, and as my man Trev just said, you know, tap into your feminine side and be softer, and then he goes out and he applies those things without ever having to deal with men. And so Andrew is attacking that part of therapy and replacing it with something else, which is ultimately therapy, but he's just not calling it that, which is go to the gym, get strong, talk to your boys, get with them. If you have some issues at home, what did your uncle say? What did your father say? What did your grandfather say? What your fraternity brothers say? What did the brothers on King Talk say before the show started? Are those guys are therapists too? King Talk in and of itself, this show is therapy for some people. Now, Andrew won't call this therapy. It's just a podcast. But the reality is, what JR created is therapy for a lot of guys. There's a lot of people we've been doing this 2 years now. There's a lot of people that taps into this podcast for therapy. They're having their therapy session right now. That's the whole purpose of the manosphere. So when he says, man, therapy is stupid, he's saying sitting down on a sofa, listening to somebody tell you to tap into your sensibilities and be softer and listen more and all that, and then that's all you do. There's no masculine countermeasure to what that therapist is prescribing you to do. Just be as feminine and soft and as weak as possible, because that's the solution to all your problems, fellas. And ladies, hear me roar. Black girls rock. Go out there, be a boss bitch. Rah, rah, rah. You're the queen of the earth and you strong and you don't need no man. That's what they're telling them. And so that's what the dichotomy was for you, Hank, so you can understand exactly where I think, and I hadn't talked to Andrew about this, but I think that's where he's coming from. And Trev, the reason why is because what's the agenda? What's the agenda, man? Weak men are easy to control. Think about it.